Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa jafarjum. Please start with reciting Surah Fatiha for Kullu Mu'min and Mu'minat. You know, before we recite our Fatiha, we always announce our marhum. And it's a way for us to remember that we're gonna we do Fatiha for Kullu Mu'min and Mu'minat. So why do we say names of our marhum, marhum, tahir, mu'min, marhum? What's your grandfather's name? Ibrahim Qasim Ali, yes, right? I think so. Heather Ali Charnia, right? Why do we take the names of the marhum? Is to remember that our marhum, our loved ones have died, and we're gonna be there too. Marhum Danish Shah, 25 years old. Marhum Hassan Abbas Mumin, not born into this world. Marhuma Sakina Mumin, lived to be over 90, probably 100 years old, right? These deaths happen. And so when you do Fatiha for Kullu Mu'minin Mu'minat, for all the Mu'minin Mu'minat, we should remember our Mu'minin Mu'minat, right? When we do that, right? We should remember this is one of the rahmat, the generosity, the mercy of Allah that we could do, send gifts to our loved ones. How many times do we wish we would have told our fathers that that we respect them or shown them respect while they were alive? How many times do we wish we would have spent time with our grandmothers, with our friends, with our cousins, with our aunts and uncles, right? And now they're gone. So what are we going to do for them, right? If we didn't have the guidance that we're going to talk about today, then we didn't know what to do. But because we have such a glorious Allah that sends us guidance, we know that we can still send gifts to our dead ones. We can send gifts to those who have passed into a better world than we live in. So let's send our marhum gifts. Let's wrap up the gift like we wrap up any present. As brother Samados likes to say that you start with salawat and you end with salawat, and that way you have the gift of Fatiha. When you do Fatiha and Qul Huwallah 3 times, when you recite Surah Fatiha 1 time, it's the sawab of reciting the entire Quran. When you recite Surah Ikhlas 3 times, it's the sawab of reciting the entire Quran. We're giving the gifts of 2 Qurans to our marhum, to all the marhum. Such a beautiful gift, right? When you go and you buy something from the 99-cent store, you might throw it in a bag. Even then, you throw it in a bag. When you go buy something from Bloomingdale's, you're going to get a nice box and wrap it up, right? We're giving the gift of 2 Qurans. Imam Jafar Sadiq says the best gift you could give anyone is a gift of Quran. So when we're giving the gift of Quran, let's wrap it up in wrapping paper better than any wrapping paper. That's the blessings that we ask to send on Prophet Muhammad and the family of Prophet Muhammad. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa jawfarajum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa jawfarajum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa jawfarajum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin, Master of the Day, Judge. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata al-ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghayr al-maghdubi alayhim wala-ddallin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Say Allah is one. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allah Samad, Allah is unique, Allah is the OG. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allah Samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He does not beget, nor is he begotten. Wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. And there is nothing like Allah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa jawfarajum.
Nare Edri.
Ya Ali, Ali, the father of Muhammad, right? Ya Allah, today is the 2nd day of Muharram. You gave us the gift of allowing us to do Bursa for Imam Hussein yesterday, even though we weren't ready for Muharram, even though it's coming, it came to us quickly on tomorrow. Let's go, right? Now we're here. We're here and we're here again. So Ya Allah, yesterday, we didn't do the kind of Bursa that we wanted to, that we intended to. Even if we tried, we fell short. Maybe it's a lack of good intention. So Ya Allah, purify our intention. We're arrogant. We're sinners. I'm arrogant. I'm a sinner. I know I sinned yesterday, Ya Allah. I sinned today. I probably sinned during the majlis, and I ask that you forgive my sins. So before you accept my deeds, forgive every single sin I did. Forgive every single sin that all the Kul Mu'minin Mu'minat did. Ya Allah, if you're not going to forgive their sins, don't forgive mine. Because they're probably better people than I am. So please forgive their sins. Forgive the sins of our marhum and forgive my sins. Purify our intentions so we could do the best service and the best gift of Ursa for Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So we can inspire ourselves and inspire each other to understand what greatness is and what greatness was then and what greatness is now with the imamat of our living Imam Mehdi Sahib was Zaman alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa Jafarajum. Condolences to Bibi Fatima al-Zahra on the second day of Muharram. Condolences to our living Imam Mehdi Sahib was Zaman alayhi salam on this second day of Muharram. Ya Allah, please, please, please open our hearts and open our minds and close our arrogance and erase our selfishness and erase any ill desire we have so we can just focus on doing something good with our lives starting today. You gave us a gift of yesterday. You gave us a gift of today. Help us use it properly. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Two quick announcements before we start. First announcement, actually a few, maybe three announcements. One of them is a multi-part announcement. So today is, as you know, 2nd of Muharram. The Ashura day is going to be a week from tomorrow. Will be Ashura day. So Ashur Kirat is going to be a week. No, sorry. Ashur Kirat is going to be a week from tomorrow. So Ashura is basically a week from Monday. Let's make it easy, right? This Monday's coming. A week from then will be Ashura. Ashura, we have a Julus here in Huntington Beach, California, at Robin Wood Park. We'll send out the information. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. We used to do it in Cerritos, but now we've moved to Huntington Beach. We do, we're going to have a kids program at the park. There's usually people there watching, other than the Muslim people. So we teach them a little bit about Islam. There's going to be the, Matam Julus. And then we do the Pursa of Imam Hussein, Ziyarat and Faka Shikni at the park. It's a beautiful, every year it gets better and better. And I urge everyone to come. Tomorrow there's a Julus. Tomorrow's Julus is in downtown LA on 10th and Olympic, right?
Broadway, right?
Between Broadway and Olympic on 10th Street. It's, been going on for many years. It's important that we support these because this is where we can come together and show our support for Bibi Zainab, show our support for the mission. Tomorrow's Julus is called Hussein Day. All over the US, Hussein Day is celebrated on the first Sunday of Muharram. So come join us tomorrow as we all commemorate Hussein Day. It's a very beautiful, beautiful program that goes on every year. Put on by all of the Jamaats in Southern California and the LAMP organization who's been doing a great job. Please, Allah salawat for the LAMP organization. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa Jafarajum. On the 7th is the night that we commemorate Mehndi. On the 8th is the night that we commemorate Hajri. It's the martyrdom, when we commemorate the martyrdom of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. Also, on that night, we're going to have a poetry night here in my residence in Huntington Beach, California, where we're going to sit around after the matam, after the program. Inshallah, we're going to sit around and recite poetry, original poetry from back in the day. Maybe some new stuff will drop, inspired that we're inspired to say for. For Hazrat Abbas and for maybe Sakina, and we're going to try this new thing called Muharram Poetry Night. So please join us for that too. And last announcement is on Ashur Day, which is a week from Monday. The program is going to start 10 a.m. with the amals. Listening to majlis is important. Showing up for majlis doing matam is important, but the amals, that is where your du'as are sent straight to Allah. That is where your sins get forgiven in the manner that we saw Prophet Muhammad do dua, that we saw Hazrat Ali do dua, that we saw Imam Jafar Sadiq do dua. These are the amals and traditions passed down from generation to generation of perfection of imamat and to the lucky people who get to learn these duas, right? And so we've been doing these, Ashura amals for years. We're going to do it again this year, and I urge everyone to come and participate. Help us read the duas. And we'll all do dua together. Inshallah, Allah will forgive all of our sins and make all of our dreams come true. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa Jafarajum. So today's program will be as follows. We're going to have a recitation of Hadith Kissa by no other than the world famous Hadi Qasim Ali. After that, we have original poetry. Marcia is going to be recited by Sister Asya Zainab. And then there's going to be a short speech / Masaib. And then Noha, Matam, Ziyarat, and we'll conclude. So also, al-Asr has been putting on kids programming. It's on our same link. If you subscribe to al-Asr, you go to subscription page, You'll see we put on the first Muharram Kids program today. A couple people looked at it. Tomorrow we're going to do it again. Inshallah, we'll do it at least for the 10 days of Muharram. If Allah gives us strength and tawfiq, then we'll continue to do stuff like this. So if you want to help volunteer, you want to help cut video for the kids who are listening, you listen to the program. Any parents who are listening, have your kids recite a Fatiha. Send us the video of it. We'll put it on the kids program. Ask your kids. They have crayons and I know kids have crayons everywhere, right? There's crayons. Step on them in the middle of the night all over my walls, isn't that right? Take the crayon. Have them draw a picture of what Karbala means, of what they think about Karbala, and they could talk about the picture, and we could put that online. Or they could send us the picture, and we'll put that online. Or they could write poetry, a noha, a dua, recite a verse from the Quran, say salam alaikum to their parents. Whatever, we encourage the kids to participate. And in the email we've been sending off, I said this on the kids program too. If your kids are watching the kids program, either make a note in the comments on the YouTube, or if you don't want to put their name on that, then send us an email or send me a text, or send one of the other volunteers a text and let us know your kids are watching. If they watch 5 episodes of the programming, or if they participate, do a Marcia, Noha, anything, then after Eid al-Azha, I don't want to talk about Eid today, but after Eid al-Azha, al-Asr owes them a gift. Allah gives everyone gifts. Inshallah, al-Asr could be obviously not as generous as Allah, but we want to encourage participation, and what's better encouragement than gifts. So after the Nora Bilal, if your kid watched half of our children's programming or participated in any way, shape, or form, we owe you a gift, right? A gift will be given. Brother, some of the guy's going to go shopping for them, and he's going to personally give them to you. And inshallah, all the kids are welcome to participate. So please join us, participate, adults too. This is very important that we get this started. When I was a kid, my dad didn't let me watch TV during Muharram at all, right? Now we have YouTube, and YouTube has children programming for so kids. If you're bored, summer vacation, we got you, dude. Go watch some. It's not me talking. I know you guys hear me talk. You guys hear, someone might come and start talking. Hear, Hadi uncle come and start reading Hadith Kissa. But the children's programming, it's by kids. There might be a slight intro, but after that, it's kids doing the speeches, kids doing the Marcia, kids doing the Noha, the Ziyarat, everything, right? And so if you want to participate, do that. If you want to watch, do that. Let us know. Without further ado, let's please welcome Hadi Qasim Ali to do Hadith Kissa, recite a loud salawat for Hadi Qasim Ali, and please recite Surah Fatiha for the marhum of his family and for Kulul Mu'min Mu'minat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajah.
Fatiha. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawm Ad-Din Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in Ihdinas as-siratal mustaqim Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim Qul huwallahu ahad Allahus samad lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim Qul huwallahu ahad Allahus samad lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim Qul huwallahu ahad Allahus samad lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad Allah Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Inshallah I'll start Hadith Kissa right now. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Bismillah Allahi al-Rahmani al-Rahimi an Fatimata az-Zahra'i binti Rasuli lillahi qalat dakhala alayya abi Rasulullahi fi ba'zil ayyami faqala assalamu alayki ya Fatima faqultu alayka assalam qala inni ajidu fi badani zu'afan faqultu lahu Uka billahi ya abatahu manazzuafi faqala ya Fatimatu itini bil kasa il yamani faghattini bihi fa'ataytuhu bil kisa il yamani faghattaytuhu bihi وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يطلع كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكمله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بوليدي الحسن قد أقبل بلى وقال السلام عليك يا أمة. فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جده يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء. That was the part where Imam Hassan asked his grandfather, the Prophet, if he could enter the cloak with him. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa shukr. Qala wa alayka as-salamu ya waladi wa ya sahiba hawzi. قد أذنت لك فدخلناه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا صوتا وإذا بولادي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمة. So this part's the same thing. Imam Hussein is coming in the room and the first thing he says is Salam alaikum to his mother, so peace be upon you, mother. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أمه إني شمو عندك رائحة طيبات كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدان الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جده سلام عليك يا من اختاره الله. أتأذن لأن أدخل معكما تحت الكساء. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافي أمتي قد أذنت لك فداك الله ما هم تحت الكساء. فاقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن أمي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وجل فرجهم. فقلت نعم ها هو ما ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي والكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتدان لأن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء ثم أتيتنا والكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتا يا رسول الله أتأذن لأن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي يا بزعتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وكساتي وهماتي. I'm going to read this part in English. So right there, the Prophet held the two ends of the cloak and raised his right hands toward the heavens and prayed, "Oh Allah, these are the people of my household, Ahlul Bayt. They are my confidants and my supporters. Their flesh is my flesh and their blood is my blood." Let me go back and read that. Allahumma inna ha'ula'i ahlu bayti wa kasati wa hammati la mahum lami wa damuhum dami yu'limuni ma yu'limuhum. Whoever hurts them hurts me too. Wa yazununi ma yazunuhum. Whoever displeases them displeases me too. An-naharbul liman harabahum. I am at war with those who are at war with them. Wasilmul liman salamahum. I am at peace with those who are at peace with them. Wa'aduwul liman a'adahum. I am the enemy of their enemies. Wa-muhibbul liman ahabbahum. I am the friend of their friends. Innahum minni wa anna minhum. They are from me and I am from them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Faj'al salawatika wa barakatika wa rahmatika wa ghufranika wa rizwanika alayya wa alayhim wa adhib anhumur rijsa wa tahhirhum tathira. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Faqala lahu azza wa jalla ya malaikati wa yasukkana samawati inni ma khalaqtu sama'am mabni yatawa wa la arzam madhi yatawa la kamaram munira wa la shamsam muzzi'ataw ولا فلقي يدور ولا بحري يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبالها وبنوها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وجل. فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتردان لأن أحبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال له نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى يخرجك السلام ويكسك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تدان لي رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين ووحي الله. نعم قد أذنت لك. فدك الله جبرائيل منا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن لها قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل بيتي ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وجل فرجهم. So that part, Angel Jibreel said to the Prophet, Allah sent his revelations to you. Verily, Allah's desire is to keep you away from impurity and flaws, O people of household Ahlul Bayt, and keep you thoroughly purified. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هداءة تحت الكساء من الفاز عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وأهله والذي بعثني بحق نبي واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرون هذا فيما فلم مما حافل أهل الأرض وفيهم جموع من شيعتنا ومحبنا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وهافت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فأكل علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وفزع شيعتنا ورب الكعبة اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بثاني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هدا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جموع من شيعتنا ومحبنا وفيهم محموم إلى وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلى وكشف له غمه ولا تقلبوا حاجات إلى وقضى له حاجة اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. What?
So what that means is that's where your hajj is. So whatever hajj you have will get fulfilled. Yeah.
So yeah, if you read this, you're saying?
Yeah, right there. We read the translation. You see it says whoever has a wish will be fulfilled.
Oh yeah, okay. So there shall remain none distressed, but Allah will dispel his distress. There shall remain none wish seeker, but Allah will grant his wish.
Ask for your wish right.
So yeah, if you guys have any prayers or any wishes, on these nights especially, ask for those prayers, ask for those du'as, and Allah, He works His wonders, He works His magic, He'll make them come true, inshallah.
At this moment, when we're reading Hadith Kisa and it says to do that, ask right now, and your wish will get fulfilled.
Yeah.
Ask it with certainty, your wish will get fulfilled.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjah. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وسؤدنا وقد آلك شيعتنا فعزوا وسؤدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم.
On the burning sands of Karbala, the headless marhum lay. They trampled the bodies of Asr and Hussein. They stopped the Prophet's family from getting water. On the burning sands of Karbala, the headless marhum lay. The enemies, they pulled the earrings from Sakina's ears. Instead of hugs, they slapped her face covered in tears. On the burning sands of Karbala, the headless marhum lay. Lady Zainab was so strong they never saw her cry. She carried Imamat on her back, she would not let it die. On the burning sands of Karbala, the headless marhum lay. Janab Qasim was so small, his sword touched the floor. When the horses trampled his body, his uncles took no more. On the burning sands of Karbala, the headless marhum lay. A spear in Ali Akbar's side, O Imam Hussein, to take the spear out of your son, for the strength of Khaybar you pray. On the burning sands of Karbala, the headless marhum lay. The burning sands of Karbala, the headless marhum lay. On the burning sands of Karbala, the headless marhum lay. Nare Hedari, Yadi, Salawat.
MashaAllah, Sister Asir. Please, let's recite a Surah Fatiha for women. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Idha ja'a nasrullahi wal fath. Wa ra'aita an-nasa yadkhuluna fi dinillahi afwaja. فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد Alhamdulillah. Ya Allah, we praise you. Ya Allah, we praise you and we don't even know what that means. Ya Allah, we think we understand your greatness, but how can we understand your greatness when you can't even understand your oneness, your tawheed? Ya Allah, we're sinners. We're arrogant, and you still listen to us, and you still allow us to utter your names with our tongues. Ya Allah, what a great master do we have that lets the lowly servant, not even a servant, we're wannabe servants, Ya Allah. We don't even serve you. Sit there and act like we're doing things that you love, but we're not. We're doing things that we love. We're trying to spin them and make it seem like we're doing it for you, but we're doing this for ourselves. That's how selfish we are. That's how selfish I am, Allah, you know. You know me better than anyone, and you know how selfish I am. Yeah, you give me opportunity after opportunity to change my life, to change my world, to change my hereafter. Ya Allah, I testify that you are one. Your oneness is something that boggles my mind to think about, and I've been thinking about it, Allah. Why? Because it's one of the roots of religion. In order for me to plant the seed of my deen to grow, I need to understand your oneness, Ya Allah. And I understand that being the first and being the last is a requirement of Tawheed, and a requirement of oneness. Because anything that is created has a timestamp. Anything Allah creates, there's actually three things created, right? There's the actual thing Allah creates, right? There's also the time before it existed and the time after it will exist, right? So if anybody's worshiping anything other than one God, right? An argument can be made that the master of that thing is time. Yet we know, Allah, that time is not the master of your greatest creations. Why? Because you appointed our Imam, Sahib was Zaman alayhi salam, and you told us that he is the master of time. So nobody can say that that time is above the creation of Prophet Muhammad. The time is above the creation of Hazrat Ali. The time is above the creation of Fatima Zahra, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, right? If the master of time is their descendant, Imam Mehdi Sahib was Zaman alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, then he is the master of time, and his only master is you, Allah. And I testify that you are the only God. You're the only God, Allah. And I'm going to make a habit of turning to nobody except for you. Nobody except for you, and looking to no man to help me except for my Imam, because that's a gift that you gave us. Brothers and sisters, before we move forward, let's ask that Allah, on this day, Ya Allah, please forgive our sins. Forgive our sins and Kabul our dua, right? As we stand here, ready to listen to the majlis of Imam Hussein, ready to listen to the tragedy of Karbala, ready to learn about Imamat, right? As we sit there pondering your oneness and Tawheed, right? As we sit there pondering your greatness, Allah, please accept our desire to send on our behalf Send blessings on Prophet Muhammad. Not just any blessings, Ya Allah. I want you to shower blessings. Shower blessings on Prophet Muhammad and the family of Prophet Muhammad. Bar Muhammad, wa ala Muhammad, sallallahu. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, wa ala Muhammad, wa farajum. And after these blessings are accepted by Prophet Muhammad and the family of Prophet Muhammad, and they test and they tell you that these are from my lovers. My lover sent me this dua and they ask that you send these blessings. They tell you that we are their lovers. Then and only then I ask that you forgive my sins. Forgive the sins of my brothers and sisters, my marhum. Forgive the sins of kul mu'minin mu'minat. Answer their prayers. And after you forgive their sins, after you answer their prayers, then and only then I want you to forgive my sins. And I want you to answer my prayers. And Allah, I know you're swift. So do it quickly so you can kabul their dua, forgive their sins, and swiftly forgive my sins, and forgive the sins of my father, forgive the sins of my mother, forgive the sins of my friends and my family and all the community. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa faraju. I sinned and I sinned and I sinned. So there yesterday talking about how we should understand what knowledge is, and we should take knowledge and remember knowledge. I want to clarify something. I said that nobody remembers what I spoke about last year. Obviously, don't remember what I spoke about last year. That's I don't want to make it seem like, oh, you don't remember what I talked about. Let's talk about the content. The content. If I talk about something today and we have a discussion tomorrow, there should be some clarity. Yeah, things take a while to digest, right? But I just want to implore everyone: if you're going to take time, to do something, do especially something for Allah. Do it with your heart, right? Do it with your heart. Understand that every word that is recited today, whether it be with poetry, carefully chosen, every word to sound beautifully and to make you have sadness and then a soft spot in your heart for the Ahlul Bayt. We recited Hadith Kissa, every word in Hadith Kissa, a word from Bibi Fatima, right? As I stand here in front of you, I really hope that I'm giving some sort of knowledge to you, right? And because of that, I want people, if you're going to take time to listen, I want you to pay attention. I want you to pay attention because we're going to learn together, right? We're going to learn together. And if you haven't figured out what we're talking about Imamat. And why are we talking about Imamat? Because that's what happened. That is the what we all say, is Imamat was saved in Karbala, right? The people who were standing up for Imam Hussein were standing up for Imamat. Imam Hussein left Medina, right, to save Imamat. Imam Hussein was traveling to Kufa to save Imamat. Yazid sent all the soldiers to kill Imamat. Bibi Zainab carried Imam Zainul Abidin on her back to save Imamat. Allah made Imam Zainul Abidin sick to save Imamat. You see, this is what the theme of this is, Imamat. Why Imamat? Why is Imamat so important? Imamat is so important that Imamat is one of the roots of religion. Imamat is so important that when Allah created the world, heavens and the earth, before he created mankind. He created the heavens and earth before he created mankind. And he told the angels, right? The earth was there before mankind was there. And he told the angels, he said, Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifatan. He's like, I am going to create a khalifa on earth. He told the angels that. He said, Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifatan. He told the angels, I'm going to put a khalifa on earth. He created earth, and before he put man on earth, he said, I'm going to put a khalifa on earth. He doesn't say there will be a khalifa on earth. People are going to vote for khalifa on earth. People are going to point to a khalifa on earth. He says, I am going to put a khalifa on earth. And he put a khalifa on earth before he put anybody else on earth, right? Why is that so important? Why is Imamat so important? Tawheed, Adl, Nabut, Imamat, Khayamat. Because there is Khayamat. Because there is Khayamat, and yes, we are born free, but our goal, Allah tells us what our goal is. Our goal is Khayamat. Our goal is Khayamat. Our goal is eternal life. Our goal is the day of judgment and to be judged on that day and stand in judgment in front of Allah and see how we lived our life. But how do we know how we're supposed to live our life, right? If I tell you, hey, I want you to do things that I like, and then come to my house and I'm going to see if you did things I like, right? Some people might know me for years and might, okay, I know, well, here's what I need to do. I should go do this and talk to this person and dress this and this and that and come and, and Kunalbai will think that's dope, right? Or somebody who doesn't know me might show up wearing a Packers hat, but you don't get out of my house, right? You see what I'm saying? So if you don't know what I like, how are you going to know how I'm going to judge you, right? But along with Tawheed, Allah is Adil. Adalat, Tawheed, Adil, Nabut, Imamat, Khayamat, the justice of Allah. The justice of Allah requires not just that Allah gives us guidance, but Allah makes it easy for us. That Allah makes it easy for us to see the right path and to get into Jannah. Makes it easy for us. So what easier way than to have mankind, right? Than to have a proof on earth that is an indisputable guide, right? Nobody, people who oppose Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, they knew he was amazing. They were just jealous, right? People who opposed Prophet Muhammad, people opposed Imam Hussein, they never looked at him and said he's a bad person, right? In fact, they tried. They tried. Yazid told all the people in all the towns that, oh, rebels are coming and we're going to kill rebels. And when they came to Imam Hussein, they're like, how can I kill you, Imam? You're not a rebel. You're a leader, right? On the day of Ashura, people were standing there. No one wanted to kill Imam Hussein, right? They all came to kill Imam Hussein, but no one wanted to kill him, right? Because he was amazing, because he was the leader. He was perfect in every way. He would smile at his people as they ran up with their fists and they ran with the rock. He would smile at them. What a great man. We think about these personalities. Yesterday, I talked about Hazrat Abbas and Bona Muhammad, right? I talked about how their friends would miss them, right? Hazrat Abbas, Habib ibn Mazar, Hani bin Urwa. These were people who grew up with Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, right? They were warriors. They were battle tested, right? They know their swordsmanship. And Hazrat Abbas rode a horse without arms. That's how skilled these warriors were. That's how great these people were, right? There were no police officers, no security guards in Medina, right? There was Hazrat Abbas. And when there was a problem, you go talk to Hazrat Abbas, and Hazrat Abbas would take care of it, right? Imam Hussein would take care of it. Habib ibn Bazar would take care of it, right? These were, great personalities to be around, but they were also strong people. The enemies knew, right? A lot of the soldiers that came were just men who had swords, and Yazid wanted more and more soldiers, and Ibn Ziyad wanted more and more soldiers, so they kept sending these farmers and shopkeepers with swords to go and kill, right? But here, sitting in the camp of Imam Hussein, were actually proven warriors, the notorious. People knew them, would see them, and like, it's over. Oh, if Hazrat Abbas is here, why are we here? Why are we here if Hazrat Abbas is here? You see, when the tents were pitched by the water, when they first were stopped in Karbala, right? Umar bin Saad, and Hazrat they asked that the camp be removed from the water. And Hazrat Abbas drew his sword. So Hazrat Abbas, he was restless. He knew what was happening. He knew not the way Imam Hussein knew, right? But he knew his destiny, and he knew what was going on, and he knew there was going to be bloodshed, and he knew his sisters were going to be humiliated. He was ready to stop it. Hazrat Abbas was going to have none of this. He was not going to take anything, and he never, ever, ever was scared of anything. He was not scared of any of these people, thousands or whatever. 1,000 soldiers, whatever. My father lifted the door of Khaybar. You think I'm scared of your soldiers? And these people came and they asked him to move the tents, move these tents. And Hazrat Abbas came out with the sword. What'd you say? What, you want me to move these tents? And Imam Hussein came calmly. My brother Abbas, put your sword away. Put your sword away. We don't want to know anybody say we're here for water. We're not here for water. Move the tents. Move the tents. And so Hazrat Abbas put his sword away. I get angry. My daughter gets angry. Calm down. Oh, I'm mad. Hazrat Abbas. Think about the bravery of Hazrat Abbas. Think about the bravery. He knew once he put his sword away, they would not only lose water, but he was the commander of the army. They would lose the strategic advantage of not being surrounded, right? So it made no sense for them. But Imam Hussein said to move it. So he put his sword away and they moved the tents. And this is what Hazrat Abbas did. This is what Habib ibn Mazar did. They listened to their Imam. What is the importance of Imamah? What is the importance of Imamah? That's what we are here to understand, right? Innama anta munzirun wa li kulli qawmim. That is from Surah 13, Ayat 7. Innama anta munziran wa li kulli qawmim. You are but a warner for every people, and there is a guide. Allah put this in the Quran. He's talking to Prophet Muhammad. You are but a warner. And for every people, there is a guide. Prophet Muhammad was a warner. He brought the message, and for every people, there's a guide. Prophet Muhammad said, after this surah was revealed, he said, I am the warner, and Ali is the guide. I am the warner, and Ali is the guide. Ali is going to guide you. He is the pathway to righteousness. Prophet Muhammad said this after it was revealed. You don't think that imamat is important? Do you not understand what imamat is? I'm saying this because Mama does not just Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. Mama son, you think you're running out of time getting to work on time? You think you're running out of time finishing your homework? You think you're running out of time getting to majlis on time? You think you're running out of time in life is catching up to you and you don't have your career or your kids or your marriage or whatever you want? You think you're running out of time, right? What are you going to do? Run faster? You're going to run faster. You're going to create more time. Why don't you look to the master of time? Why don't you look to Imam Zaman and say, Imam, help me. Stop asking your boss for a raise. Stop asking your neighbors to look over your home. Stop asking your friends to comfort you. You have a friend. Allah sent you your friend. This is how we have a responsibility to call and recognize our Imam. Our Imam has a responsibility to come. What did you call it? Did you say your mom today? How many people did you call today? How many people did you talk to today? How many of your homies did you call and say, hey, you doing okay? How you doing? I was just thinking about you. Hey, are you coming to the majlis today? Hey, what are you doing today? Hey, you know what happened is my neighbor upset me. Hey, someone cut me off. How many people are you calling and complaining to? Why are you not complaining to your imam? That's his job. That's his job. Allah put him on earth to help us, to guide us, right? Yesterday, I told you, Imam Jafar Sadiq said that if there were 2 people left on earth, one of them would be an imam. Why? Because there's always going to be guidance. There will always be guidance. If Allah's not guiding us, then that is injustice to us. That is the graciousness of Allah to guide us. Because if we're not guided, then how is that just? Right? On the day of judgment, how can Allah judge anybody if there's no guidance? How can Allah judge anybody if there aren't you scared of the day of judgment? You know what's going to happen on the day of judgment? Do you have any idea what's going to happen on the day of judgment? Right? Right here, everywhere where you stand, there's bodies buried somewhere, right? And on the day of judgment, right? Every single person that's been buried is going to rise from their grave naked and afraid. You're going to look to the right and the left and you see people. You're going to see people with their sins, and their smells hanging on. You're not going to know where anyone is. Imagine being lost in the middle of a fair or convention, somewhere. If you've been to Hajj, if you've been to crowded places, and you lose your friends and you lose your family. You're looking around and you're distraught, right? That's even more. You're going to be dead for how many years? You're going to come back to life after you're dead. Inshallah, you realize how much being alive was not cool. All right, this body, meat bags walking around. We have pains, we have discomfort. We have leg aches. Hali has a broken leg. You know what I'm saying? All these, pray for his foot. You know what I'm saying? All these things that happen in this world. It's not a joke, man. Life is hard. Life is hard, and then we die, and inshallah, we're in some sort of peace. Then you come on the day, you're like, whoa, not this again. Now you're naked, right? You don't have your fresh gear. Then that person next to you smells because he's been committing adultery. The person on your right has a big chin because he's been lying. There's all this stuff going on. You have no idea where anyone is. You finally find somebody you recognize, like, hey, come here. I used to know you on earth. The guy's running away from you. He's like, I got to look out for myself. Right? That's what the day of judgment is going to be. You want to be up there on the day of judgment, right? You want to be there on you want the day of judgment to be different. Plan for it now. Just like when you go on a trip, just like when you plan to go to an amusement park, you get there before the line starts and you get there. You know what I mean? You plan to get there so it's the most comfort for you to get in and to do that. You can plan for the day of judgment. How? Read Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Surah Al-Waqi'ah tells you a tale of 2 people. One, the people of the left hand, right, who weren't prepared for the day of judgment, what it's going to be like. Eating from the tree of zakum, when you eat it and it burns, you're going down, right? I look at made food on this earth, burn going down. Tastes nasty, and you still have to eat it. You made stuff delicious, man. That's some delicious food today. You know what I mean? And that's Allah's rahmat, right? But on the day of judgment, if your deeds weren't good, you ain't eating good food, dude. You know what I mean? You're gonna drink fire water, and you're gonna have to drink it. You're gonna have to drink it because people get thirsty. Right? Think of it, people get thirsty. What atrocities? How hard was the day of Ashura for everyone, right? In the 7th surah, Surah Al-Araf, وَمِمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا أُمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِالْحَقِّ وَبِهِ يَعْدِلُونَ. All right. وَمِمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا أُمَّةٌ يَهْدُونَ بِالْحَقِّ وَبِهِ يَعْدِلُونَ. Amongst those who we have created are people who guide you on truth and justice thereby. Amongst those who we created, there are people who guide you with truth and do justice hereby, right? By them guiding us with truth, that is justice. You see, Allah is saying that there is no justice if there is no guidance. If there is no guidance, there is no justice, right? You know, Imam Jafar Sadiq interpreted this ayat, and he said, we are the protectors of mankind. We are the protectors of life, and we are the protectors of the world. If we were not here, the world would not be here. He says, because we are here protecting the world of guidance, the stars do not fall from the sky. Because we are here protecting the world with our guidance, the sky does not fall into the ground. The world does not collapse on itself. It said that if there is no guidance, there is no existence. If there is no guidance, there's no existence. That's how important guidance is, right? Allah will never leave a time when there is no guidance on this earth. So we look at these times and we think that our Imam is not here. You were completely wrong. You were completely wrong. Imam Jafar Sadiq says that the effect of the Imam, he said, when the clouds are in front of the sun and you can't see the sun, don't you feel the heat? Don't you feel the heat? Now let me ask you something. Do you think the sun is more powerful, or do you think the master of time is more powerful? What do you think? What do you think, right? You think the sun is more powerful than the master of time? What do you think, right? What do you think, Hadi? You think the master of time is more powerful, or you think the sun is more powerful? Right? So if the sun is hidden behind the clouds and you could still feel the heat and see the light, you don't think we could feel the warmth and see the light that emanates from the master of time, from the descendant of Prophet Muhammad, the descendant of Hazrat Isa, he who completed the lineage of Hazrat Ibrahim. You see, Hazrat Ibrahim is the friend of Allah, right? And he told Allah, Hazrat Ibrahim, check this out. Imamah is so important that Hazrat Ibrahim was made prophet first and Imam after. First, Allah made him prophet, and then Allah gave him imamah. So first, he had to learn prophecy, he had to learn the message, and then he gave him imamah. So you tell me how important is imamah? If you have to learn to be a prophet first, and then you are given imamah, that's how important imamah is. So Hazrat Ibrahim was the friend of Allah. He was Khalil Allah, right? And he asked Allah. Allah, he said, Allah gives all prophets a gift, right? He gives all prophets a gift. Prophet Muhammad, the gift he gave Prophet Muhammad was the gift of mercy to forgive his people. Prophet Muhammad asked for a gift for us, right? Hazrat Ibrahim, we wanted his gift to be that all of prophecy would come from his lineage, right? Any messenger you send is to come from my lineage. Any imam you send is to come from my lineage. So Allah gave him two sons, Hazrat Ishaq and Hazrat Ismail, right? And Hazrat Ishaq, from his lineage came Hazrat Dawud, Hazrat Sulaiman, Hazrat Isa, all from the lineage of Hazrat Ishaq. And from Hazrat Ismail came Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, our Imam, our guide, our leader, right? Appointed by Allah is the lineage of Hazrat Ishaq, because his mother is from the lineage of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, and of Hazrat Ismail, because his father is from the lineage of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. What a great pedigree. What a great pedigree. What a great, there's no fault in any of the imams, but Allah sent such a great pedigree man to be our leader, right? One of the hardest things that, is imam kept progressing. It became more and more difficult for the imam to do their duty. What does that mean? Imam do their duty? Somebody asked Imam Hussein one time, he said, you don't have that many children. He said, it's a miracle that I have the children I have. In order to have these children, I had to pray 1,000 rakats a day to have the children that I had. Imam Hussein said this, and if you look at how many, Hazrat Ali had more sons in Karbala than Imam Hussein did. You see, his children were very, very small in comparison to how people had children back then. And Imam Hussein said, in order to have the amount of children I had to do 1,000 rakats a day, right? See, the imams have requirements too. The imam's requirement is to be your leader, right? The imam's requirement is to be your leader. Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam, right? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He was under constant surveillance, right? And people, not like people have their what are those called? Those cameras on their the drones or the doorbell cameras and stuff that they have, right? It's not about any of that. They have there was live surveillance, right? They had him move to Samara, and they had people watching him, watching who would come in his house, watching who would leave his house, so nobody could go and talk to him and get guidance from him, right? So Imam Hassan Askari, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, he would get letters to his people because it was his responsibility to guide people. See, the imam's responsibility is not just to kick it and wait till we're ready for his return to us, right? The imam's responsibility is to guide us. And if he didn't guide us, he didn't do his responsibility, right? What did Prophet Muhammad say on Ghadir? I said yesterday, he said, after he appointed Hazrat Ali, he said, now I fulfilled my responsibility as prophet. You see, that was his responsibility to appoint him, to let people know about it. He didn't appoint his successor. No, Allah appointed his successor. It was his job to make sure people understood. You know, I said in the ayat earlier that Allah said, you're but a guide, and you are but a message, and there will be a guide, right? You know, back in the day, there was no faucets, you know, there was no, you know, indoor plumbing, right? So when people want to do wuzu, sometimes they call somebody, you know, I call my son, you know, hey, Ali, please, go bring me some water. I want to do wuzu. I need to hold the pot. And, you know, I do wuzu, right? So one day, Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma sallallahu Muhammad, he called Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. And he said, I want to do wuzu, go bring me water. Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, he didn't kick it for 5 minutes and then say, what? No. Prophet called, Hazrat Ali ran, brought water to him, and he brought water. And before he did wuzu, Prophet Muhammad, while everyone was watching, he said, I am the message, he is the guide. I am the message, Ali is the guide. He made sure everybody knew every step of the way, Hazrat Ali alayhi salam is the successor. If it's not so important, why did Prophet Muhammad keep saying that? If Imamah is something to be taken lightly, right? You have no friends, right? Hang out alone and you sit there and wish somebody would notice you. You know who notices you? Your mom notices you. Imam Mehdi Sahib was Imam alayhi salam. He notices you, and he cries for you, and he cries for your pain, and he looks at the bad decisions we make throughout the week, and he feels bad for us, not because it hurts, you know, but because we hurt ourselves, and because he knows that we're hurting ourselves here and the hereafter, and he tries to guide us. He guides us in ways that we will see, but some of us are blind. As it says in Yasin, some people will not be able to turn their hands to the right or the left. You know, all they could see, you know, they call it tunnel vision, right? Don't be those people. Don't be those people, right? You know, you know, if I looked in my contacts, I probably called, you know, 4, 5, 6 people today to talk to your mom. Call your mom. Understand what Imamat is. We're here, right? We talk about Imam Hussein stood up for Imamah. Bibi Zainab stood up for him. Why don't you stand up for Imamah, dude? I'm just being real. Why is it that you want to go and ask other people to be your friend, and you want to ask other people to support you, and you want to ask other people to to do things for you, right? But you're not going to ask your mom, right? You're not going to ask Allah straight, Allah. You know, when Hazrat Ibrahim was flying through the air after they shot him through a catapult into the fire, Hazrat Jibreel came down. He said, hey, the Lord sent me. Do you have any prayer you want me to ask him? And Hazrat Jibreel said, no, I don't need to ask. I don't need to tell you my prayer. Allah already knows. Allah already knows, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't ask. Why should you ask, right? Yeah, mom knows too, but why should you ask? To develop that relationship, right? Someone knows we're cool, right? He knows I don't talk to him for a week. He's still my bro, dude. He's still the homie. You know what I mean? Hadi, I beat him in basketball every week. He doesn't care, you know, and I don't talk to him for a week. He doesn't care, right? He knows we're homies, but I'll still call. And I'll say, hey, you doing okay? Is your ego hurt after I dunked on you? And he's all, I'm used to it, bro. You know what I mean? I call someone by it. You know, and I talk to him, how was your day? Just because that's a relationship we develop. It's a relationship we develop because I cherish the friendships that we have. Don't you cherish the relationship you have with your mom? Don't you do that? Right? You're going to spend all this time on when I say you guys, right? I don't know what you guys don't know what I do, right? But it's a general, you know, like the royal we, right? I'm a sinner, right? I ain't going to hide nothing. I'm a sinner. I sinned yesterday. You know, astaghfirullah, you know, I'm probably going to sin today, astaghfirullah, you know, sin tomorrow, astaghfirullah. I don't want to do it. It's a bad habit. I develop better habits, right? I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner, and Allah is the only forgiver I have. And Imam Mehdi Sahib was Imam, still loves me. Still loves me. Well, it still comes to me when I call him. Ya Imam is Imam, come and give us strength. Come and give us clarity. We're looking, so, you know, let's go Brandon, you know, blaming Biden for all our problems. I know Trump was here, blamed him for it. No, it's not going to do anything for you, right? And it don't matter who you elect, they're not going to do anything for the only person on earth who does anything for you is your mom and your parents, right? You see Islam, it's interesting. Islam says you treat everybody the same. Treat everybody the same, except there's 3 types of people you treat differently. 3 times says you treat everybody the same, right? You don't treat anybody different. You like them, you don't like them, it doesn't matter. They treat you good, doesn't matter. You treat everybody the same, except for 3 types of people: scholars, your parents and the imams, right? It tells you who to treat, it tells you who to respect. That way you don't have to go, oh, well, he's my boss, I should respect him. Yes, you should. You should respect him as much as you respect the person who works under you, right? You see, but Allah says, Allah tells us, respect your parents, right? Don't forget that. Don't forget that. Always respect your parents. Always right. Never say no to your parents. Respect your parents, respect scholars, right? Because they're giving you a gift of knowledge. And respect the imams above anyone else. They are best of all people. They're the best of all. Imam Hussein was the best of all people, right? And the people with Imam Hussein were the best of all people. People craved their company. People craved their company, right? They were, they would have the best parties, Eid parties, wedding parties. They would get together on Friday nights and they would, do a Thursday night. They do Dua Kumal, and then they would hang out and talk, just like we do when we go to masjid. We hang out, to talk to your friends. And I remember I was a kid trying to leave, and my dad saying stuff with office to everybody for 35 minutes, right? But he's having fun, right? And they would have fun when they would do this, and they talked to Hazrat Abbas, and he would make them laugh, and somebody would need something, and he'd get up and get it for them. Ona Muhammad would play, and this is going on, right? Habib ibn al-Azhar, Bibi Zainab would take care of everyone, answer the questions, right? And now they're headed to Kufa. They're headed to Kufa, right? Letter came back from Muslim bin Akil saying, yeah, they accept you in Kufa, right? I almost said no better, right? Then they get a letter and another letter. And Imam Hussein calls the young girl Ruqayya, who was Muslim bin Akil's daughter, and he says, you're a widow, you are an orphan now. Imagine how hard that must have been, right? And he was Imam Hussein, these great personalities, right? Nobody had anything to worry about. It's like when you were a little kid and you were somewhere with your father and you knew nothing could happen to me because my dad's here, right? It's great. Imagine Hazrat Abbas being next to you saying, hey, you got nothing to worry about. I got you, right? Imagine that security you had. Imagine that security you had, right? Imagine, we were talking about, the day of judgment when, people are going to be so thirsty, they're going to drink water that makes their stomach burn. That's how thirsty they are, makes the stomach burn. On the day of Ashura, it was so hot that the people were pouring water on the horse's feet because the horse couldn't keep their feet on the floor, right? And on the 7th of Muharram, I was thinking about this yesterday, right? We were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? I said on the 7th of Muharram, when they cut off the water, right? They cut off the water. Remember, Hazrat Ur was the one, why do you keep calling him Hazrat Ur? He cut off water from Imam Hussein. He cut off water. He made Imam Hussein move the tents from the lake, right? He was the one. So as they were walking to Kufa, right? Hazrat Ur, he was a general, and he had all the soldiers, right? 1,000 soldiers he had, right? On one path was walking Imam Hussein with his 72 men, and then there were women, elderly, and children, right? His family basically walking, and side by side was walking 72 warriors, right? Keeping them, watching them, making sure, right? But nobody was scared. The boss was there. It's 1,000 men. How's it the boss? Was it the boss? 1,000 men. You see what I'm saying? They weren't worried, right? But imagine that. Imagine that. 1,000 soldiers walking beside you, pacing you, right? And there was a sandstorm, and Hur and his army had got lost, right? They got lost, and when they finally found their way back to Imam Hussein, right? They were like, "Oh, hey, mom, we're looking for you." Like, oh, okay, we found him. They're scared. Yazid Ibn Ziyad, we're going to assassinate them if they didn't find him, right? So they find Imam Hussein. They're trying to catch up with him, and Imam Hussein sees them. What does he do? Right? He gives them their water. Oh, you guys must be. Oh man, that was a bad sand. Here's some water. Right? Here's water for your horses. Here's water for the soldiers who have been told to kill us, right? And to harm us and to make sure that we don't step out of line. Here's water for all of them, right? Didn't say anything that, oh, by the way, you're not giving me water, but I got you. No, hey, sit down. Want some water? Give them water. The army all prayed behind Imam Hussein, and he knew what was going on. He knew, and so then they finally got to Karbala, right? They're on their way to Kufa, and they got an order to make Hussein stop here. Make Hussein put the camps away from the water, and who did all of that? Who did all of that? And now 7th of Muharram came, and I want you to think about this. 7th of Muharram came, and the supply of water, they no longer give them access to the Euphrates, right? There's no more water that's going to come to the camp of Hussein, they ordered, right? With 72 men that died, right? How many women and children were there, right? How long did the water that was in the camp last? And I think about the children. I used to hear the stories of the children on the day of Ashura, and I started to think about the children on the 7th night of Muharram. The 7th night of Muharram, when the water is done, right? And the first child Think about this, right? Everybody's sitting there worried about what's happening, right? There's thousands and thousands of soldiers, right, outside the camps, sharpening their blades, and you can see their horses, and some had armor, and you're in a new land, right? These kids, they left their homes, their friends, their family, their school, and they walked. They walked where, right? You're not on the freeway. You're in the middle of the desert, dude. Walking in the middle of the desert, and not knowing where they're going. There's an army beside us, right? There's an army beside us. There was some scuffle. We can't put our tents here. Now we have to put it here. And now we're sitting in these tents. This is our new home. There's people outside trying to, now we're so thirsty. Imagine, I think about the first time the first child said, Allah tash, Allah tash. Think about the time the first child said, oh, I'm thirsty. I think about the women and how the women must have heard all the women just start to cry. These men, I said, Hazrat Abbas, Hazrat the Mazahir, such great soldiers, Musab bin Asija, such a great soldier, right? Such a great soldier that he, on the day of Ashura, he was the first one to be martyred. He was the first one to be martyred, right? He was leading the defense when the right flank was being attacked. He led the defense and pushed the soldiers out. Then the left flank, Musa bin Asad was there leading defense. He pushed the soldiers out from the left, and then the soldiers are sent out one by one. Hazrat Abbas said the only way we're going to survive the longest is if we go out one by one. And so people looked outside the tent and they saw a cloud of dust. They saw a cloud of dust being formed, and there were enemy soldiers falling out of the cloud of dust, a whirlwind of dust, and enemies falling out of the cloud of dust. What's going on? What's going on? It looked like tornadoes taking these people, throwing them out. No one could see what it was. Right? And then the cloud of dust started to disperse, and there lay Muslim bin Asija. He was the soldier fighting so gallantly, nobody could come near him. There was a cloud of dust that they saw. He was sitting there on the 7th of Muharram. When the first child said, Allah tash, when the first child said, I'm thirsty, and the women, I think about the women crying. How many women must have tried to hold back their tears but couldn't? Hazrat Abbas, who always did everything the children wanted. Muslim bin Asija, who was there to do for the children, watch out for the family. Hussein, how must he have felt? I have my sword here. Let me go get water. But Imam Hussein said that we're not going to make this about water. We don't want anybody to think that we tried to die because we were thirsty. We will die thirsty to let people know why we were here. Think about that. On the day of Ashura, I said that the ground was so hot. The horses were lifting their feet up, and the soldiers that were denying water to Imam Hussein were pouring water on the horses' hooves, right? Hazrat heard this. He heard this. I mean, he hearing Allah tash for 3 days. When Imam Hussein saw Hazrat, why am I talking? Why am I calling him Hazrat? I want to make a statement before I start telling the Messiah of Hazrat. I wanted to make a statement. I sinned yesterday. I sinned today. I probably, sitting during the speech and don't even realize it. Ya Allah, forgive my sins. I want to talk to you about Hazrat. I want you to think. When I ask you, did you sin today? You don't need to tell me, but think about it. Think about what you did in privacy. Think about what you did in secrecy. Think about what you did in arrogance. Think about what you did in ignorance. Think about what you did not even realizing because you don't care that much. You don't care that much, dude. I don't care. I got a house. I got my, my TV, my switch, I got some water. I don't care. I'm going to do what I want, right? You're going to sin. You're going to do what you want. That's what he did what he wanted to, right? Ibn Ziyad said, Yazid promised him grandeur. Ibn Ziyad said to keep him away, so he did it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. You want me to find? I'll keep Imam Hussein away from water. Right? Imam Hussein looked at Hazrat when he saw me. He said, I know who you are. I know who you are. You're the son of that woman who wouldn't take my mother's name without doing wuzu. That's who you are. Hur. I know who you are. He would tell him that, right? And on the day of Ashura, when it was so hot, 3 days the kids cried, Allah tash, and Hazrat Abbas didn't lift his sword, right? Would have been a lot different if he did. You think the lion of Qamar Bani Hashim, you think the son of the lion of God could have gone and got some water? Huh? You don't think he could have gone and got some water if he wanted to, right? On the day of Ashura, he didn't have a sword. He had an alam with him. We'll talk about that another day, but I want you to understand who these people were. They weren't just random people kicking it, weaklings like Hadi sitting here, can't go get water. You know what I'm saying? These were the greatest, notorious people that the other, wannabe soldiers feared these men and they could do anything they want. But because of the patience and all, that's the bravery they had, listening to women crying. And I think about Bibi Zainab. Seeing all the women crying and wanting to give them strength. People say, how's Bibi Zainab so heartless? She didn't cry on her son's head. How is she so heartless? People said she never cried in Karbala. It's because she was the leader. Because she was the leader of women. Because she was the leader of children. And she wanted to show them strength. And it'll be okay. Allah put us in this position. It'll be okay. And how strong must she have been? See all the women crying and go and do tasalli to all the women. Go and tell them, can I do anything for you? I'm sorry, we don't have what. Can I do anything for you? Can I do anything for these children? Because they end up being so strong, right? And on the day of Ashura, after hearing al-Tash for 3 days, Hazrat Hur saw in a dream, he saw in a dream, he woke up feeling guilty. He woke up feeling guilty and he called his son. He said, what have I done? My son, what have I done? I'm on the wrong side. My son, please tie my hands, blindfold me, and take me to Hussein. Take me to Hussein. So Hazrat Hur was being brought to Imam Hussein with his son on one side and his servant on the other. And he's brought to Imam Hussein. Hazrat Abbas saw him coming from far, the man who kept them for water, walking towards him with the audacity, right, with his son and his servant. And Hazrat Abbas drew a sword. I said, Hazrat was very restless. He was ready he was ready. He was ready. Anytime you want to go, he was ready to go. He's not scared, right? He was just waiting for a reason. Give me a reason. Give me a reason. Imam Hussein kept saying, no, be patient, be patient. So on this day too, he drew a sword. He's going to his sword. What do you want, right? And Imam Hussein came again, just like he did when they asked him about water. He said, oh, my brother Abbas, put your sword away. Put your sword away. And Hazrat Abbas did not hesitate. He put his sword away. Imam Hussein was his brother and his master. He put his sword away. And Imam Hussein looked at Hazrat Hur and he said, I've been expecting you. I've been expecting you. The man who stopped the children, not just him from getting water. Bibi Sakina was thirsty. Hazrat al-Asr was so thirsty, so weak, he hadn't cried in days, right? This is the man that stopped the water. And he said, I've been expecting you. And Hazrat Hur, he told him, he said, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I don't know why I did any of that, right? You ever feel that way? I'm so sorry, Allah. Ya Allah, you are the greatest. There's nothing greater than you, Allah. There's no one who gives me anything other than you, Ya Allah. My mom, you watch over me in ways I don't realize. I'm so sorry. And Hazrat Hur looked at Imam Hussein. It was his Imam too. Yes, he was keeping it for water. But it was his Imam too, wasn't he? And he looked at him. And he said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And Imam Hussein, he told him, it's okay. It's okay. I forgive you. He told him, it's okay, you're my brother. And he hugged him and he said, I forgive you. And Mom, we're so sorry when we hurt you. We're so sorry when we don't listen to you. Come embrace us like your mom was saying, God, embrace Hazrat Hur on that day and let us know everything's going to be okay. And Hazrat Hur took off his blindfold. And what did he see? What did he see? He saw Imam Hussein. And next to Imam Hussein, he saw Hazrat Ali Akbar alayhi salam, 18-year-old boy. And he started crying. And he started crying. And Imam Hussein said, what's going on? Why are you crying now? You're forgiven. He said, I see your son. He's not going to live, is he? And Imam Hussein said, no. And Hazrat Hur looked at his son. He said, how can I live? And how can my son live if your son's going to die? How can me and my son live if your son's going to die? How can my servant live if your son's going to die? And Hazrat Hur, he joined the camp of Imam Hussein. He joined the camp of Imam Hussein and he helped keep the enemies at bay. He went, valiantly fought on his horse. People saw, Hazrat Hur, he was notorious. He was a general. He was a general. They saw him coming on the battlefield. They saw him coming on the battlefield on his horse. Imam Hussein, the man who he kept from water. Such a great man he was, right? He didn't make him feel guilty. Hazrat Hur kept asking, let me go fight. Let me go fight. And he said, no, you just got here. You're my guest. How can I send my guest out to die? He said, I'm so sorry. He said to Hazrat Hur alayhi salam on the day of Ashura, he said, I'm so sorry I don't have any food or any water to give you, my guest. Imam Hussein said this. I'm so sorry. He said, don't go fight right now. Spend some time with me, my guest. Spend some time. Let's hang out a little bit and let me give you the respect that you give a guest. And he said, you're my guest. And then Imam Hussein started to realize that this is my guest. And the longer I keep my guest here, the longer he's going to suffer. So he let Hazrat Hur go. And before Hazrat Hur fought, he let his son go. And his son went and his son fought valiantly. And his son fell. And Imam Hussein went and carried the body of Hazrat Hur's son back to the camp. Then Hazrat Hur mounted the horse that Imam Hussein helped him mount, and he went. And people saw Hazrat Hur coming, fighting like a lion. They were so scared. I told you some of these people were shopkeepers in Kufa, shopkeepers nearby that were intimidated into coming. Don't give in to peer pressure. Always do the right thing. Something feels wrong, you don't do it. Something feels wrong, you're scared, you call the Imam and say, Ya Imam, this doesn't feel right. Give me the strength to follow. Give me the strength to follow Sirat al-Mustaqim. Give me the strength to follow you. That's what these people didn't do. And they showed up with their swords. And now there was the great general who was fighting them, and they were falling, soldier upon soldier was falling. And then somebody attacked Zator and hit him from behind. He fell off of his horse. When he fell off of his horse, they surrounded him. They surrounded him and started attacking him with spears, with knives. And he called out to Imam Hussein. He said, Ya Mullah, come, let me see you one last time. And Imam Hussein ran. I said that Imam Hussein wasn't great. When people saw Imam Hussein running, they saw Hazrat Ali running, they saw Hazrat Abbas coming, and they fled. Every time they saw them three coming, they fled because they knew there's nothing we could do if these men are coming out with their swords, and they left. And the body lay on the floor, and Imam Hussein took the body, put the head in his lap, and Hazrat looked at him, and he said, Hur, you are dying a martyr. He said, you are going to go to Jannah, then I will go to Jannah. You see, this is the forgiveness. This is the forgiveness of Allah. This is why we learn about the tragedy in Karbala, not so we could cry, not so we could wish that we could fight. You want to fight? Fight against yourself now, right? Atone for your sins. Hazrat Hur, he stopped Imam Hussein from getting water. He stopped Bibi Sakina. Hazrat al-Asr, you hear about al-Attar, stopped them from getting water. And what did Imam Hussein say? Right away, you're forgiven. I forgive you, our Imam, please. Please intercede on our behalf and ask Allah to forgive all of our sins. And just like Imam Hussein embraced us on the day of Ashura, let us feel your embrace to know that everything's going to be okay. Tomorrow, tonight, when you need something, in these 10 days, I'm asking you just do it. If you think I'm crazy, do it and show me I'm crazy anytime you want anything. Don't ask anyone but the Imam. For the 10 days, this is a testament, a 10-day tribute to Imamat. Anytime you want anything, ask your Imam first. Ask, Imam, this is what I want. And see what happens. See how your life changes and see how you understand. Tawheed, al-Nubut, Imamat, Khiyamat. So the roots of our religion. Why are you worshiping if you don't understand what religion is? Imamat is a necessary tenet of religion. Please, let's continue. Continue to look and understand what Imamat is. Bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu Ya Hussein, 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 the hope for humanity, even though you're slain. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, headless body on the burning sand. You are the king of all the land. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas. You stood up for freedom no matter what the cost. Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas. The arms fought for Hussein until they were lost. Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas. You resemble the Prophet more than any other. Ya Akbar, Ya Akbar. You filled the land with the Prophet's voice at Fajr. Ya Akbar, Ya Akbar, Ya Asr, Ya Asr. Your throat was so dry you couldn't even cry. Ya Asr, Ya Asr. Your father Hussein tried to get you water. You are the youngest of all the martyrs. Ya Asr, Ya Asr, Ya Qasim, Ya Qasim. You are the son of Imam Hassan. You were loved by everyone. Ya Qasim, Ya Qasim. The horses who trampled your body. For you, death was sweeter than honey. Ya Qasim, Ya Qasim, Ya Zainab, Ya Zainab. You showed us the strength of a sister's love. Ya Zainab, Ya Zainab. We will walk with you until Qiyamah. You are the savior of Imam. Ya Zainab, Ya Zainab, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Rabb koi masooma zinda mein na ho. Ya Hussein, masooma, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Rabb koi masooma zinda mein na tanha ho. Ya Rabb koi masooma zinda mein na tanha ho. Ay bawae रोने पे न पहले या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो थी जिसको नींद आती शबीर के सीने पर थी जिसको नींद आती शबीर के सीने पर जिंदा दर जिंदा हाय जिंदा दर जिंदा जिसके लिए कज़ा हो या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो टकराए न वो क्यों कर जिंदा की दीवारों से टकराए न वो क्यों कर जिंदा की दीवारों से भाई से और पुती से हाय भाई से और पुती से जिसको जुदा किया हो या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो या रब कोई मासूमा जिंदा में न तन्हा हो या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन
I do on my speech for. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On Surah, you heard Alam's, there's no other day that you heard Alam's except our Surah. And our Surah is the only day that you heard Alam's.
Allahumma salli ala
sallallahu Muhammad wa
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ilahi yadum al-bala wa barih al-khafa wa nkashaf al-gita wa nkata al-raja wa dhaqat al-ardu wa muniyat al-sama wa anta al-musta'anu wa ilayka al-mushtaka wa ilayka al-muawwalu fi shiddati wa raha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad وللأمر الذين فرضت علينا طاعتهم وعرفتنا بذلك منزلتهم ففرج عنا بحقهم فرجا عاجلا قريبا كلمه البصري أو هو أقرب يا محمد يا علي يا علي يا محمد اكفياني فإنكما كافيان وانصراني فإنكما ناصران يا مولانا يا صاحب الزمان الغوث 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 أدركني 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 أسا 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 الأجل 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 يا أرحم الراحمين بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma وليك حجتنا حسن صلواتك عليه ومعي في هذا الدرس وفي كل سوريا وحافظ الكاظم والناس والولي وإنا حتى أسكنه طيب برحمتك يا رب العالمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجه. زيارة.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. زيارة حضرة عباس الإسلام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا أبا الفجر عباس ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيان. السلام عليك يا أيها العبد الصالح المطيع إلى الله وعلى رسوله. السلام عليك يا أفضل الشهداء. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. زيارة إمام حسين عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا أبا الفجر عباس. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. زيارة إمام علي بن موسى رضا الإسلام. السلام عليك يا قريب الغرباء. السلام عليك يا علي بن موسى رضا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. زيارة إمام مهدي عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك حجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آله في حاسد الساعة وفي كل ساعة ولي وحافظ وقاز وناصر ولي وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك وتمت فيها طويلة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجهم. Moving on, just a couple of reminders before we conclude the program. Tomorrow, once again, is the Lamp Jalous. So please go ahead and come participate and attend the Jalous. On 7th Muharram, there's a Mehndi program. On 8th Muharram, there's going to be Hazri. And then there's going to be alums on both days, 7th and 8th. 9th Muharram, we're going to have a Jura. And on Ashura day, starting at 10 a.m., we're going to have a Maulid, followed by a Jalus at 1:30 p.m. After that, it's going to be Fakr Shikni. Please, all Mu'min Mu'minat are welcome to attend. Anybody that wishes to participate, please go ahead and contact any one of the volunteers here at al-Asr. And right before we conclude, let's do this Fatiha for Mu'min Mu'minat, including Muhammad Tahir Mu'min, the family of Sagarwalas, the family of Qasimali. There's also going to be a kids program that's going to be here from every day until like the 10th or 11th online every day. Emails will be sent out. Stay tuned. With that, let's go ahead and do a Surah Al-Fatiha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجه. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل فرجه. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعجل. Ya Ali. Thank you, Mom. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.